I don't know if he has it, he called Cindy.
Deep plumbing used to be in those buildings. It used to be really fun. Written plumbing used to be in there. Hey, John. Those buildings on Park Street used to be weird and plumbing. Right?
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our Committee of the Whole meeting of Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Could we have roll call, please?
10 present, 2 absent, 9 present, 2 absent, 1 presiding.
Thank you. Let the record show that Commissioners Fortune and Mankins are excused. Would you join us with Commissioner Sorge for the prayer and the pledge?
Thank you, Madam Chair, fellow commissioners. Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, John. At this point in our agenda, I would ask for any public comment on any items that are on tonight's agenda. Any comments from anybody? Okay, seeing none. Report of the chair. I don't really have a lot to report. I know we have Memorial Day weekend coming up, and I'm sure it's going to be gorgeous, just like tomorrow. But anyway, that's coming up. We can all enjoy a 3-day weekend. Moving into section 1, bid openings, public hearings, and or presentations. We'll begin with a bid opening. We have 2 of those, starting with communication number 2022-218. Angie Mulligan, Public Works, requesting Council Commissioners authorization to schedule a bid opening for May 25th, 2022 for refurbishing the Basin Creek Caretaker's House. Do we have proof of publication, County Attorney Joyce, for the 3 items that we have on our agenda tonight?
Madam Chair, we do have proof of publication for all 3, and all 3 appear to be in order.
Thank you very much. Okay, the floor is yours. Ms. Burns.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It looks like we have 1 bid tonight that's been received, and this is from John C. Snyder of Butte, Montana.
County Attorney Joyce.
And Madam Chair, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that appears to be in order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms.
The
Burns.
amount of the bid is $112,565. Again, that's $112,565.
Thank you. And that was the one single bid that we had this evening?
Yes, one single bid.
Any questions from council before we move this along? Okay. Karen, do you want this directed to your department?
Yes, please.
Okay. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to move this to the Community Enrichment Department with Director Burns. What?
Community Development.
Community Development Department. Sorry, Director Burns. Yes, so that's my motion. I apologize.
We have a motion and a second to refer the singular bid back to the Community Development Department for their recommendation back to this body. Would everyone, any questions on that? Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Would anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Moving along to our second bid, this is Communication 2022-219. Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council Commissioners' authorization to schedule a bid opening for May 25th, 2022 for the curb projects on Ophir, Wells, and Fairmont Streets. Director Neary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioners, for the record, I'm Mark Neary, Public Works Director. We didn't receive a single bid for this project. I think timing might be off a little bit. Everybody's busy right now. We'll reconsider Public Works, whether we'll send it out again or we'll wait, or maybe we'll break up the project, maybe get a couple different parts out of it separate from the whole project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along then, we have one public hearing. This is communication number 2022-225. Lila Osborne, Senior Planner, requesting Council Commissioners' authorization to schedule a public hearing on May 25th, 2022 on the change to the Butte-Silver zoning district map. Ms. Osborne.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. For the record, I'm Lila Osborne, Senior Planner, and my presentation tonight is for Zone Change 2022-2. Oh, great. Thank you. This proposal is to change the zoning designation of approximately 14.5 acres of land, which has currently two zones, R1 single-family residential and R3 multifamily residential. The proposal is to change it all to C2 community commercial. The properties are located north of the intersection of Continental and Olympic Way, just west of the interstate. It's made up of 3 properties highlighted in the red, with 3 separate property owners, each of which is an applicant. The properties, the northernmost property has the Copper T, which is a t-shirt printing shop, and the owner lives above that shop. The one south of that is a vacant parcel, and then property C is the U.S. High Altitude Speed Skating Center. These next slides are some images. This is the aerial image. This is our current zoning. I highlighted those 3 parcels there. You can see that the skating center property is split zoned C2 and R1. And this is the proposed zoning. So it extends that C2 north to encompass the entire skating center's property as well as those 2 others. This is current and this is proposed. The comprehensive plan for this area is there's 2 different place types. The purple is a transportation gateway place type, which represents key access and entry points into the urban areas of the city and county. Ideally, these create a sense of arrival and anticipation for people entering and should be carefully designed to be welcoming and attractive. The comprehensive plan outlines future land use objectives as expansion of services and industry, intentionally welcoming design standards. The suburban mix, which is that light blue that has the other 2 parcels, intends to promote a combination of diverse housing selection with neighborhood scale commercial development. These are transitional areas between suburban and urban. They act as a buffer between more traditional neighborhoods and heavier commercial uses. The comprehensive plan land use objectives for this is integration of neighborhood scale commercial. I'll now present the key findings of our staff analysis for the application. The overall intent is to accommodate future growth of existing businesses. The Copper T, which is property A, they would like to expand their business, and there's no proposal per se for the skating center's property, but they've toyed with the idea of leasing out some of the unused space in their existing building, which is currently zoned residential, so problematic. They want to make the entire property commercial. And there's no proposal for lot B, which is the vacant lot. There are already several uses that are consistent with C2 zoning. The skating center, the Copper T, Harley-Davidson is across Olympic Way, and so is Three Bears. There are residential neighborhoods to the north and east, but these neighborhoods are not accessed by Continental, they're accessed by Blacktail Lane. The skating rink is the closest part of this proposal to these residential neighborhoods, and the design and the use of the rink itself is not proposed to change. It's okay. Any future development would be considered infill development, which utilizes vacant space and existing services or extension of nearby services. There's no sewer infrastructure on property B, but it could be extended. Future development would be subject to all C2 zone and development standards, which includes the extension and maintenance of existing facilities, road improvements like sidewalk, curb, and gutter, and landscaping. Properties A and C already contain commercial uses, so this zone change would bring these currently non-conforming uses into conformance. And both of the place types which make up these three properties promote commercial uses, particularly those which are community scale and welcoming. At our planning board hearing, the planning board recommended approval on April 28th. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Osborne. Any questions from the council members before we have our public hearing? Okay. I will open the public hearing. At this time, I'd ask for for proponents. First call for proponents. Anyone would like to come to the microphone and state their name and address for the record, you can make a comment. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. At this time, I would ask for opponents. Anybody opposed to this project, please come to the microphone. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Thank you. Okay, moving on to section 2, communications. We begin with item 1 is communication number 2022-119. Mike Boyza, Carpenters Union Hall, requesting Commissioner's authorization to relocate a boundary for the Carpenters Hall located at 156 West Granite. With this boundary relocation, you would give permission for us to build our elevator. We did receive a letter of to allow this, an authorization from the Planning Board. So at this time, Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to cross-reference communication 2022-119 with communication 2022-216 and communication 2022-254 and place on file. Second.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference with the other two items that are referenced to this request. Is there anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Would anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yeas, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Are you okay, Ross? Item 2. Communication number 2022-144, Mary Jo and Steve Stosich, citizens of Butte-Silver requesting Council Commissioners reconsider allowing Mary Jo and Steve Stosich to purchase vacant Butte-Silver owned property identified as tax parcel number 472700 north of and adjacent to 60 Orofino Gulch Road. We also received a recommendation to approve this, so Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to cross-reference communication 2022-144 2022-44 with communication 2022-253 in place on file.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference 2022-144 with 2022-253 and place this on file. Is there anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yeas, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 3 is communication number 2022-145. Sean Frederickson, Commissioner District 1, requesting Council of Commissioners provide its concurrence to have the City County of Butte-Silver, Montana develop a resolution of intent to establish a C-PACE Commercial Property Assessed Capital Enhancement Program within Butte-Silver, authorized by Title 90, Chapter 4, Part 13 in the PACE Act of the Montana Code annotated. I would also request that a public hearing be scheduled for April 27th, 2022. We did have the public hearing. We also had the resolution of intent. At this time, it is sitting in judiciary, and we will take our action on that at our next committee of the whole. So we'll hold that in abeyance. Item 4, communication, excuse me. Oh, does somebody have a question? Commissioner, excuse me, County Attorney Joyce.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. It did move out of the judiciary tonight to final reading,
Okay,
so
all right.
you could cross-reference it with that
So-
resolution.
I knew that was an option, but I appreciate that, and we will do so. Let me find the resolution here. Okay, all right, at this time, I would request that we have a motion made to cross-reference communication 2022-145 with resolution number 2022-27 and place that on file. Commissioner Frederickson.
All right, thank you, Madam Chair. I move to cross-reference communication number 2022-15 or 145 with communication resolution 2022-27 in place on file.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference 2022-145 with resolution 2022-27 and place this on file. Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yeas, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 4, communication number 2022-153, Sean Frederickson, Commissioner District 1, and Eric Mankins, Commissioner District 9, requesting Chief Executive Gallagher to coordinate a presentation on the street maintenance fee for the April 27, 2022 meeting to discuss assessing the fee per tax parcel or per unit. And we did have this meeting last Wednesday. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-153 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-153 on file. Would everyone, anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Would anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yeas, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Communication 5 is 2022-182. Michael W. Harris, citizen, requesting Council Commissioners and Chief Executive Gallagher's authorization to purchase the property located in the Buffalo Spur Lode Subdivision, Section 12, Township 3 North, Range 8 West, the east 30 feet of west 64 feet of lots 8 and 9 in Block 1, parcel number 1905610. Harris owns the house located at 33 East Summit on the east end of lots 8 and 9, and he is requesting to purchase these remaining lots to have a yard and prevent someone else from building on the property above him. And we received a letter of recommendation from our Land Sales Department. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to cross-reference communication 2022-182 with communication 2022-252 and place on file.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference communication 2022-182 with 2022-252 and place this on file. Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
9 yea, 1 nay.
Motion passes. Item 6, communication number 2022-209, Elizabeth J. Warren, MD, citizen, requesting Council Commissioners and Chief Executive Gallagher to allow Elizabeth J. Warner to purchase Silverboe County land located off Lot 16B on Certificate of Survey 1024A-RB from the northwest corner of her house, 130 West Boardman Avenue, Butte, Montana, to the road, less any portion used by the neighbors to access the back of their houses. We did receive the recommendation from the land sales last week. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to cross-reference Communication 2022-209 with Communication 2022-255 and place on file.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference 2022-209 with 2022-255 and place this on file. Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
10 yeas, 0 nay, motion passes. Item 7, Communication 2022-210. Zach Osborne, Fire Chief, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to schedule a bid opening for May 18th, 2022 for the new fire apparatus for the fire department. And we had that. There we go.
Oh, yeah, the room volume somehow got way up at maximum. I don't know. Scared the heck out of me, woke me up.
Thank you, Kathy, for doing that. We appreciate you IT people immensely. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Okay, item 7, the fire apparatus, Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place Communication 2022-210 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place Communication 2022-210 on file. Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 8, communication number 2022-212, Aubrey Japp, Archives Director, requesting Council Commissioners authorization for time on the May 18th, 2022 regular Council of Commissioners meeting agenda to conduct a presentation on the Archives 2021 annual report. We had that last week. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place Communication 2022-212 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-212 on file. Anything on the question? Everyone please vote. Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 9, communication number 2022-216, Michael Boyza, citizen, requesting Council Commissioners authorization for Chief Executive Gallagher on behalf of Butte-Silver to donate the west 21 feet of Lot 9A, Block 23, for the purpose of boundary adjustment of existing tracts of record to allow adequate space for a proposed exterior elevator on the east side of the Carpenters Union Hall, 156 West Granite Street, Butte, Montana. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-216 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-216 on file. And just as a point of record, we did cross-reference this with the other two communications. So anything on the question? Everyone please vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Oh, come on. Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 10, communication number 2022-218, Angie Mulliken, Public Works, requesting Council Commissioners authorization to schedule a bid opening for May 25th, 2022 for refurbishing the Basin Creek Caretaker's House. We did have that bid opening this evening. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-218 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-218 on file. Anything on the question? Everyone please vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 11, communication number 2022-219, Mark Neary, Public Works Director, requesting Council Commissioners authorization to schedule a bid opening for May 25th, 2022 for the curb projects of Ophir, Wells, and Fairmont Streets. We just had that bid opening, or we actually didn't have a bid opening, but we need to place it on file.
Okay.
There's no bids. Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-219 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-219 on file. Is there anything on the question? Everyone please vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 12 is communication number 2022-225, Lila Osborne, Senior Planner, requesting Council Commissioners authorization to schedule a public hearing on May 25th, 2022 on the change to the Butte-Silver zoning district map. We had that public hearing this evening. So Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-225 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-225 on file. Anything on the question? Everyone please vote. And would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 13, communication number 2022-234, Danette Gleason, Finance and Budget Director, requesting to schedule a public hearing before the Council of Commissioners on May 18th, 2022, for the purpose of amending the fiscal year 2022 budget to appropriate district court reserve funds to cover the unanticipated costs related to juvenile detention budget. We had that public hearing last week. So Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place communication 2022-234 on file.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 2022-234 on file. Anything on the question? Would everyone please vote? Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record that vote?
10 yea, 0 nay.
Motion passes. Item 14, communication number 2022-261, Jim Fisher, Commissioner District 6, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to provide notice of my intention to make a motion to reconsider Council Communication 2022-201. This communication, which requested amendments to how the $80 million of opioid funds received by the state of Montana from the settling defendants would be distributed in the state, was concurred with and placed on file at the May 4th, 2022 regular meeting. Upon further review and after receiving this, several county attorneys across the state urging us to reject the proposed changes to an existing MOU, I will be requesting the council reconsider its actions approving Council Communication 2022-201. Commissioner Fisher, anything to say on this? And I will talk to the county attorney. County Attorney Joyce, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I did speak to Bill Rossback, who is the Special Assistant Attorney General appointed by Austin Knutson, the Attorney General, to work on obtaining all of the counties' signatures on the second MOU, and Mr. Rosbeck advised me that the second MOU is on hold, that the first one is still in effect because they did receive 100% of the signatures on that one, but they have not received 100% of signatures for the revised MOU, and that after all the other counties that are involved in receiving these settlement funds received this same letter that this council received, that they have obtained other rescissions. So we're not the only ones that attempted to rescind the vote on approving the second MOU, and that he indicated that he's working with a small group trying to address the points that the Attorney General's office is concerned about and the points made by the different county attorneys and city attorneys that signed the letter you received. And he said that they're trying to find a simpler, more concise resolution to those issues, and they hope to have that resolved within a week or so. So they obviously understand that people are, or other counties are rescinding their vote, and he indicated basically that the first MOU was what's in effect, so if the council wanted to rescind their approval, they could do so, but the second MOU is not going to be in effect until they come up with the resolution that all the counties are in favor of.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce. So would it be best for us to hold this as a placeholder until the revised version comes our way, or should we maybe place this on file and start over? What would be your recommendation?
Madam Chair, I think that the council could continue to hold it if they wanted to, or, you could make a motion to rescind your earlier approval of the second MOU. Either way, but the second MOU is, it can't be basically the one that's in effect for the how the $80 million of the opioid funds are going to be distributed, because unless they have 100% approval from all of the counties, they're not going to be able to utilize that second MOU.
Commissioner Fisher?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think with that being said, I would make a motion to hold this in abeyance. Communication number 2022-261 to hold in abeyance.
We have a motion and a second on the question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't believe we need a motion to hold it, do we?
Well, I don't know, we don't really need to, but we can just hold it in advance. But you did mention that we might want to verbally on the floor say that we are rescinding the previous communication. So I think that, do you want to amend the previous communication was 2020.
Can I ask
excuse
a
me.
question first
Certainly.
maybe this will help us out. So, thank you. So County Attorney Joyce, if they do come out with a new MOU, we would have to rescind our previous vote anyway correct? So we might as well rescind it right now, because we will have to do that eventually.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Frederickson, yes, I would agree with that, because this revised, the MOU that you approved is not going to be the one that is going to be in effect, because the Attorney General's office realizes that they're not going to be able to get 100% of the counties to sign this second one. So there will be, I guess, a third version that will be presented to the counties, and if they can't come to agreement on that, they do have the first one that's been signed by all the counties that is currently in place and effective.
Okay. Commissioner Fisher, would you like to amend your motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like to withdraw my which we didn't need to hold. I would make a motion at this time that we rescind our vote on communication 2022-201.
We have a motion on the floor to rescind the previous communication 2022-201 and hold this in abeyance until we get the new one. We have a second on that. So would everyone please vote? And would anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
10 yeas, 0 nay.
Thank you, County Attorney Joyce, for that clarification. Okay, moving on to item 15. This is communication number 2022-264. Dylan Pipinich, Butte-Silver Bow Planning Director, requesting Council Commissioners approve budget authority for Public Works in the amount of $220,000 for the engineering and construction for the western wall of 135 East Park Street. We held this in advance by motion of Commissioner Fisher last week to await the results, if there were results on a possible private sale. Commissioner Fisher?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I will make a motion that we deny communication 2022-264. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to deny communication 2022-264. Anything on the question? Commissioner Anderson?
Thank you very much, Chairwoman Shaw. I was wondering if we had an update on that private sale, if the buy-sell was signed, and what the status of that was.
I believe we can do that. That was one of the reasons we held this in advance. So I would call on Ms. Jeannie Moylan. Thank you.
Lady Chair, getting the hang of this.
Your name and address for the record, Jeannie.
I'm Jeannie Moylan, 303 Silver Street. And the deed is still pending. Their attorney was on vacation last week and came back to the office, I believe, on Monday. So that is still pending. But we are super excited with the team that we have together and the support we're getting. I am moving forward that in hopes that the sale will go through because of the notice that I got in writing that we were voted, that the Rescue Mission had voted to sell to me, so we're just waiting for that one more week, and I apologize for that. But I think we'll have a lot more information next week regarding all aspects of it, so I appreciate that patience and apologize for that.
All right. Thank you, Jeannie. Yep. Okay, we're on the question. Is there any further on the question? Commissioner Anderson, follow up.
Make a substitute motion to hold this. We originally held it to see what would happen with the sale. I think it'd be prudent to continue to hold this with the sale until which time we find out if that is going to go through or not.
We have a motion and a second. This is a substitute motion to hold this in advance until we have an update on the potential private sale. Anything further on the question? Commissioner Fisher?
Once again, thank you, Madam Chair. I've been in contact with Mr. McClarty from the Rescue Mission, Chairman of the Board, and he just received the draft today around 2 o'clock here in the courthouse. I was up here, and there's really no plans to move forward in a short time. And I think it's, as was stated by, Dylan, our person representing the planning board, that, it's pretty important that we do something with 135. And I don't know that we're going to spend $220,000 to shore up a wall. I think by denying the $220,000, it's going to force someone to come up with another plan, because I don't think anything's going to happen on that building through the rescue mission until they see what happens with 135. I mean, I can't speak for them, they're not here, but in my conversation with Mr. McClarty and the board, it sounds like to me it's kind of a chess game right now, and I think the ball is kind of in Butte-Silver Bow's court to see what we're going to do with 135. So, I mean, I can't make no decisions here, but I think my motion to deny the $220,000 is a pertinent move, so I'm going to say that. Thank you.
Anything further on the question? Commissioner Frederickson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hate to do this, but I have a question for Director Neary.
Okay.
I'm not trying to open up a can of worms here, but
Director
it's a pretty
Neary.
simple question, I think.
Director Neary.
Thank you, Director Neary. Is there, and I know that you're a master operator, so I respect the work you do and your knowledge on this. Is there any way to start any sort of demolition on 135, like now? I just think about, I know we waited a couple of years, so I'm assuming that you're going to say no, but I just wonder why we haven't really started anything on that process. I know, I understand, I've been in every meeting, so I understand a lot, but it just seems to me that I don't know why we can't at least start on it until we get to the wall, because it seems to me that then a lot of these questions would be answered by the time we got to the wall. But like I said, you're the expert, I am not.
Director Neary.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Frederickson, I think I'm waiting for the go-ahead too. I think it's in your hands what we're doing with it, because we started with the demolition, we stopped because of, the shared wall, and then it's been here since then. I can't guarantee anything.
Yeah.
The guys that noticed it, it's their expertise too. We stopped when we saw that there was a problem. We stopped before any damage was done. But it's kind of, we're waiting to see what to do. If this commission says I make a motion that you start tearing it down and we'll see what happens, I guess that's what we'll do. But the ball's in your court, the way I look at it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Anderson on the question.
Well, thank you very much, Chairman Bishop. Quick question for Director Neary, if I could. Thank you for being here. How will, if we give you the okay to start taking that building down, say tomorrow, or in the next week, how is that going to affect the road crews and the water crews that you currently have working for the next couple of weeks or months? If they're busy taking down this building, how is that going to affect the plans for the roads and water work that you're going to be doing this summer?
Director Neary.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Anderson, we wouldn't need the whole road department on this project. The biggest thing is to get it down, and then, when the safety issue isn't there, we could load out between jobs. If they're milling, they wouldn't need all the trucks. If they're paving, we could do it. We could fit it in if we had to.
Thank you.
Commissioner Callahan. On the question.
Well, my question is, I don't think the council's holding you up. I think the motion we had, or the communication we had originally was to approve the money to tear down the mission building. The construction side of it, the council hasn't voted. I think 2.5 years ago, we voted okay for you to go ahead and do that.
Commissioner Neary.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Callahan, and that's what we started to do till we ran into this issue. And then it's been at a standstill in here.
Follow up, Commissioner
We
Callahan.
received that communication 2 months ago. You guys started tearing that building down close to a year ago, 8 months ago. So it hasn't been here for 8 months.
Commissioner
Madam Chair.
Frederickson? Oh, I'm sorry. Director Neary, did you want to respond?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Callahan, since we stopped, it's been in reports, engineering reports, studies, everything there. It hasn't been in limbo till 2 months ago.
But we've had it for 2 months.
Director Neary.
We've had it, we stopped. I believe everybody's on the same page. We stopped to make sure that we didn't hurt the other building.
Chief Executive Gallagher.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Just a little point of clarification. The council won't be approving whether you're going to demo this or not. That's already been done. to demo 135. The reason it was stopped was the shared wall, what we were trying to figure out between the shared wall, what could be done. But the permission to demo 135 is still in place. And so we're not coming to you to ask to whether or not you're going to give us permission to demo 135. That has already been done and put in place here. But what we were looking for was to try to figure out a plan how to remedy the situation between the shared walls. But the demolition of 135 is already in place and remains in place.
Thank you. Commissioner Frederickson, on the question?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. I mean, I agree completely that, I mean, our charter's pretty clear that we don't direct staff, the Chief Executive does. So I'm wondering what's preventing the Chief Executive from giving the go-ahead to start the demolition. I mean, it seems to me like it's the ball's in your court to use. I hate to use that, but I can't think of anything else, so thank you.
All right, then we're on the question. We need to get a motion. Chief Executive.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Frederickson, I would agree. I think that we've gone to the point where we have to make a decision now. We are trying to figure out what the solution was going to be. There has been no solution, no remedy on the suggestions that we've made going forward with that. And I can tell you this, and full disclosure, my directive is tomorrow we're going to start demolition on 135.
Okay. Thank you, Chief Executive Gallagher. Still on the question, Commissioner Reardon, then Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a question. I can see you're wanting to get to work on this situation and all that. Do we have our cards in order with historic preservation as far as salvage?
Chief
Madam
Executive
Chair.
Gallagher.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Reardon, we have already made plans going forward that we're going to try to preserve what we can in the facade if it's possible, but as it falls, and I may let direct back to Director Neary on this, but I think that they're going to try to preserve some of the things, but that's the best that they can do. They cannot guarantee, but I'll direct the question to Director Neary.
Commissioner Fisher, then Commissioner O'Neill. Oh, excuse me. Director Neary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Reardon, there's two iron beams in the front of 135 that Mary McCormick brought up that if we could, they'd like to see those saved. And Kathy McCourt actually asked about some of the other stuff that's up a little higher, and we said we would do our best to save what we can.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Fisher, then Commissioner O'Neill on the question.
Once again, thank you, Madam Chair. I guess my reasoning is I don't think the taxpayers want to pay $220,000 to build a wall inside a building we don't own. That's one point. The other point is I feel that if we deny the $220,000 and let them move ahead and something happens, it appears to me that it would be a lot easier to work with the rescue mission than it would be a private party of any kind. So that's my reasoning, but the $220,000 is what's at stake here, and we have no say about what happens with the rescue mission buildings. That's up to them. But as Council of Commissioners, I think it's pertinent that we let the Chief Executive, let the people of the community know that we're going to follow through on getting 135 down, and whatever happens after there, we'll deal with that just like we do everything, and I think that's the best thing to do. Thank you.
Commissioner O'Neill. Nope, okay. Anything else on the question before we call for a vote? All right, now we are voting on the substitute motion from Commissioner Anderson, and this is to hold Communication 2022-264 in abeyance. So, anything further on the question? With no further ado, we will vote. Anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote?
4 yea, 6 nay.
Motion fails. And we go on to the original motion, and that original motion was to, this is from Commissioner Fisher, was to deny 2022-264 and place this on file. Is that correct? Okay. All right, anything on that question? Would you please vote, everyone? John? Would anyone care to change their vote? Would the clerk please record the vote? What did you push, John? Oh, I'm sorry. Would the clerk please record the vote?
7 yea, 2 nay, 1 abstain.
Okay. Motion passes. What's that? Yeah, okay. John, what were you abstaining? You have to vote yea or nay. Do you want to just tell us? Commissioner Reardon voted yea. Okay, thank you. I didn't think you wanted to exclude yourself. Okay. Could you please just give us the number again, Ross? Thank you. For the record.
8 yea, 2 nay.
Motion passes. Okay. At this point in the meeting, I would call for any public comment on any public matter not on the agenda. Mr. Vanderrob, welcome back.
I'm coming. Oliver Vanderrob, 2601 Grand Avenue. I guess I must let you newbies know that I was raised on a Montana dairy farm. My daddy taught me early on what BS looked like. I want you to be respectfully aware that while children are being massacred, I am being BS'd by this city-county government's administration. But most of all, I want to be sure that if you did not read my email, that you are aware that every American that knows of something that might contribute, even slightly, to improving the attitude of Americans, one toward another, in our country, and does nothing, is at least partly responsible for what has happened the last few days in Buffalo and Uvalde. I do hope that you are concerned that if something is not done to change the attitudes, the same thing might happen in our community. I do hope that you, individually and/or collectively, will take it upon yourselves to do something to encourage and foster harmony in our communities across America. As our president said last night in his address, for God's sakes, when are we going to do something?
Thank you, Ed. Anybody else care to make a comment on anything that was not on tonight's agenda? Seeing none, is there anything else to come before us? I wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I promise I'll only take a minute. I would like to encourage everybody to think about what's gone on in Uvalde. When my daughter did her second internship when she was in college, she was in Uvalde. And she knows some of the families that were affected by this. She has coworkers who lost children, and she has coworkers whose children are in ICU. This hits very close to home, even though it's thousands of miles away. And I just would echo what Mr. Banderob said. We all need a kinder, gentler approach to each other, and we need to understand that we have more in common than we don't. So I would just ask that everybody pray for Uvalde and keep those words in mind.
Thank you, Commissioner Shea. Anything further to come before us? All right, Commissioner Frederickson.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?